What's up, world? What's up, sports fan? All of the sports fans, welcome to TLP Sports Club. This is TLP Live. I am your host, Harry B. The B means billion. There's a lot to talk about. Shedeur Sanders is finally and officially a Cleveland Brown. Okay? We're going to talk about that. There's a lot going on. It's a messy. When I say messy, it's a messy quarterback's room. We're going to talk about all of that. But before we do that, please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as I upload it to YouTube. All right, family, I got to go ahead and get into this video real quick. So that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. And work, we are about to work. If you are watching this video post live, you might want to just fast forward it just a little bit after all of the introductory stuff. But we got to talk about a lot of stuff. I don't have a lot of time. I'm not going to be before you long because I got other business to handle. But I had to come on here tonight so that the community can have a say in what's going on. And we all got to have our conversation. And I understand, I believe the Eastern Finals is tonight or whatever time. What's going on? I'm sure I'm going against basketball. My timing is always off. I'm going against something. I know basketball starts tonight. But we got to talk about this quarterback situation that's going on with the Cleveland Browns. All right? So, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I do appreciate it. All right, for those of y'all who are able to watch and join me tonight, right there on your screen, join TLP Live at gmail.com. The email is jointlplive at gmail.com. That's how you're able to come onto the show and join me so that we can have this conversation about the Cleveland Browns and their situation that's going on. If you are watching right now and you are a part of this live, you go ahead, please do me a favor, hit that like button so that other people can get the shimmy from the algorithm to know that we are live and they will be able to join the show. All right. And if you are watching, let me know what game am I missing? I know there's an NBA game tonight. It all starts tonight. What game am I missing? My timing is so off. Anyways, we got to do it though. We had to talk about this. So, as you all already know, Shedeur signed his contract. On the thumbnail, if you look on the thumbnail, you see exactly how much he's going to be getting paid. All right, he's going to be getting paid approximately. Give me 1 second, guys. Approximately $4.6 million. Dylan Gabriel, because he was drafted in the third round, I believe his is like $6 million. So that's pretty much how it works out. So there's a lot going on. Now, I want to play this clip for you. We're just going to jump right into this clip. Let me make sure that let me take this off the screen here so I can make sure I'm not oversharing this. It happened before. So let's go to this clip. We're going to go ahead and start with this clip. And YouTube, the algorithm, YouTube, this is a reaction to this clip. Please don't flag me for copyright violations. Hopefully I don't get flagged for that. But we're going to go ahead and play this clip. And then this is going to be part of our conversation here. All right. So this is not mine. I do not own this clip. I'm just using it for a reaction. So hopefully YouTube, you will allow me to do this. Anastia. Oh man. Nastacia. Anastia. I got it wrong, but how you doing? Thank you for joining me today.
When do you think we'll get clarity on what the Cleveland Browns are doing at quarterback?
I have to think it's going to be hard for them to run a 4-man competition in camp because you have to get the rest of your team ready because of the rules. There's only so many opportunities you get with your first offense out there. You've got to prepare the other 10 guys in the huddle to play football, to play offense in 2025. And so you can't just endlessly have this quarterback derby going on. So I would think my guess would be they have to at least get a read on it over the course of the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks in OTAs and mini camp. And allow that to sort of guide them as far as how good a shot every one of those guys has at winning the job when we get to the summer. Where it's like, at least in their heads narrowed down a little bit, where they're giving the best opportunities to the guys who have proven themselves the most. So, it's funny too, like, cause I thought about this and like, it's like, well, Joe Flacco could just, cause he was there 2 years ago, he could just, give up some of the reps so the other guys could get it. Do you think Joe's going to sign up for that, Dan? Like, I mean, like he wants to start, so it's like Tommy Reese is the offensive coordinator. He wasn't there 2 years ago. So if you're Joe, do you want to give Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders all of these reps with the new coordinator that you're not getting, that might give them a leg up in the competition, which could end up could wind up leading to you losing your job. Like, I don't see that being, I don't see that being the best course of action for Joe Flacco either. So it's definitely complicated in a lot of different ways. And I do think more so than in a normal quarterback competition, because there are 4 of them, they have to get a read on this and have to have an idea of what the pecking order might be coming out of the spring. And then I would think you probably are on the second or third preseason game, are making a decision on your starter.
All right. So as you can see, guys, I said this was a mess, and I wasn't lying. This is a mess, man. Like, they got to figure this out. So there are technical stuff they got to figure out. All right. We got to, no more feelings or how we feel about such and such. I did the video about the general manager early on going on the radio and saying that Joe Flacco had to, work for his job just as well as everybody else. So that was some sort of a breaking news that it wasn't necessarily a breaking news, but it was breaking news because I work in this business. I know what breaking news feels and sounds like. He didn't break the news, but that was breaking news. Prior to that information, we did not know that there was going to be a quarterback competition. Everybody's saying Joe Flacco, Pickett, and then, the pecking order kind of comes down to the rookies. Deshaun Watson is somewhere in the mix. All right. But if you're the general manager and you drop that kind of information out there in the media and just kind of walk away from it without officially saying anything, people like myself and others that know about this business and how this business works, we're going to call that. That's big breaking news. Like, come on. We had a quarterback competition. It's technical. You have a team to prepare. This is not this ain't no training camp. This is not like summer camp, right? Like Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes are going to be holding training. They're going to be holding some type of camp during the summer, and they're going to be helping some kids to, get their game up and giving them advice. This is not that. This is a real NFL situation. We should have not been in this mess to begin with. And guys, I'm sorry, but I'm a little tired. All right. So my energy, the way that I spaz regularly, is not the same because my brain is like befuddled. I was sitting down one time and I was like, the word just came to me, befuddled, or whatever the word is. Okay. But my brain is a little befuddled. So but there's a lot of information I want to share with you, and I'm trying to organize it in my head because this is a pop-up show. So just bear with me, okay? Y'all got to bear with me a little bit because I'm sure a lot of y'all out there are just as pissed as I am with this situation that we're in. Y'all watch the video, what I was just like, let me get something off my chest, and I told y'all that I felt like we're being hijacked. I didn't say the word hijacked, but I feel like my feelings are being hijacked. We're somewhere that we really don't want to be at with the doo-doo Browns, but here we are. This is not the video where I'm going to be befuddling, okay? This ain't the video where I'm going to be doing all of that. This is our situation. It's real now. The ink has dried on the contract. Shedeur is an official Brown. So we got to deal with this situation here. And I'm so sorry to all the Browns fans that have been, you're sort of like the Colorado Buffaloes. You've been around here for so long. You're waiting for some type of new energy. You're waiting for something new to revive your your organization, your team, and you've been in the trenches forever. It's like so reminiscent of Colorado. Like it's the same thing. It's just the NFL now. It's the same thing. Y'all haven't won nothing in forever. All right. I know y'all had a few seasons where y'all went to the playoff, but y'all are like the lost children of the daggone NFL. Like y'all don't even know where y'all belong at. Every year to get it wrong. The organization don't know how to like. I said this was not a befuddlement. I'm saying this word wrongly, whatever. But come on now. So I'm sorry to y'all Browns fans, but I feel like we don't belong here. And it has nothing to do with y'all. We're new around here. We're BWBs, bandwagon Browns. Okay? We're bandwagon Browns, and here we are. We've been hijacked. I don't want to say kidnapped, but I feel like we're being hijacked, and here we are. We're all going to be in this space. We're going to hate you. I hate you. Because I don't want to be here. But I'm sorry, I have to tell you that. I don't want to be here. Okay? I don't like it here. What did Jaden Smith say in Karate Kid? I don't like it here. And I'm so sorry, Browns fans, that you got to take this, okay? I feel so real. Thank you so much for your patriotism. And is it patronage or patriotism? It's not patriotism. Thank you for your for the super chat. King hang tonight. Be blessed. 12 will be fine as long as he makes the most of the reps he gets. It's the Browns. If he makes the team, he'll start. Yes, Phil. Thank you for the positive vibes that you're bringing to the show. Shantae, what up? TH, what up? Bezel, what up? For Dama, what up? And Anesthesia, I think Anastasia. I think your name is Anastasia. Give me a thumbs up if that's your name. Oh, my public school education. Oh, be feeling me sometimes. Phil, I cannot calm down. Leave me alone, okay? Go to sleep, Phil. Go to bed. I only have like an hour to do this, and I'm so tired. Like the back of my head, you know, like your eyes are here, right? And like when you tired, like you're feeling it right here. That's where I'm tired at. And when you're that tired, you can't remember things. But I'm going to do this show, and I'm going to get through this show. I promise. This is a good show. All right. I already gave you the first opening clip. Okay. So here we are. We are in this situation. I don't want to be here. If you're new to me, if you're new to the channel, I'm the guy that tells the truth, that it's like, I let it all out. I'm telling you, I'm a bandwagon Brown. Okay, it's out there. But I don't want to be here, but I'm here now. I can't help it. A lot of us don't want to be here, Browns fans, but we're here now. You're going to hear me moan and, you know, that other word a little bit every now and then, but I'm going to get over it. I promise you. We're going to get over this. We can't help it, but we're here. What are we going to do? We're all going to be doo-doo Browns, okay? We're not going to get comfortable. I'm keeping my jacket and my shoes on, okay? Because I want to be traded. That's just the facts. Facts, like the young children say, the young people say, facts. We want to be traded, so we're not taking our jackets and our shoes off. But here we are. Let's deal with this. I hate it here. Anyways. Bruh, 5 freaking quarterbacks, bruh. I know there's 4 on the thing. Is it 4 on the thumbnail? Let me make sure it's 4. Freaking 4 quarterbacks, 5 quarterbacks. What the heck is wrong with these people? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 4 quarterbacks, but there's 5. And let me tell you why. Oh, I got it. Anastasia. Yes. Yes. Ooh. Prince George's County public schools came through. Yes. Whew. I told you I think it was because I was tired because I can read pretty well. I only started school at 12 years old. I mean, from Liberia. Good Lord. You can't blame me now. All right, so let me show y'all the other thing. All right, this is off the screen. We're gonna go ahead and show y'all this because this is real. All right. This is very real. Like I'm telling you, I don't know what the Browns are doing. When I said this is messy, like NFL teams don't carry 4 quarterbacks on an active roster, let alone 5. You're not going to have 5 quarterbacks on a roster. There's only 53 people you can have on a roster. You're not going to take up space when you can actually carry an extra lineman. I don't want to be here. I don't like it here. Okay. Cleveland Browns Deshaun Watson returning earlier than expected from Achilles injury. Have you heard about this? Have you heard about... My Lord Nasally also. This is not the right time to go live, especially when basketball is on. Is there a game that I'm stepping on? Is there a basketball? Can somebody help me out in the chat? Is there a basketball game that I'm stepping on? Oh, I almost missed this. I'm sorry, Shantae. Shantae says she's sending the same amount the hater just sent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shantae, for matching the hater's funds. I didn't call you a hater, Phil. It was Shantae that called you a hater. She's using her government name tonight. So, all right. Just don't get buffed in prime. Okay, I mean, what happened? Okay. All right, so here we go. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson is making progress in recovering from his Achilles tendon injury. How would that impact former Colorado Buffaloes quarterback Shedeur Sanders and former Oregon Ducks quarterback Dylan Gabriel, Cleveland's latest draft picks? This was written by Charlie Veal. I think that's his name, Charlie Veal. Usually when I do these videos, I'm letting, I'm reading it, but I'm spell checking and I'm checking words and stuff. But when I read it live, you're going to have to depend on my public school education from Prince George's County. Okay. And shout out to Greensboro, North Carolina. UNC Greensboro, what up? Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson is reportedly making excellent progress as he looks to return from his Achilles injury, according to Cleveland.com's Mary Kay Cabot, whatever. Watson tore his Achilles tendon in October 2024, and he tore the same tendon again in January of 2025. As a result, his participation in the upcoming regular season was considered to be in jeopardy. Can the Browns quarterback complete his rehab and return to the field during this year? What would that mean for Cleveland's rookie quarterbacks, former Oregon Ducks signal caller Dylan Gabriel and former Colorado Buffaloes passer Shedeur Sanders? So it's getting messy. I told y'all this crap is getting messy. Now, here's the thing. All right. You can't just return, like he's throwing the ball to his teammates, okay? He's trying to show signs of recovering, but we're talking about the NFL here. We're not talking about, touch football or flag football where the NFL just allowed the NFL players to actually partake in 2028 in flag football. We ain't talking about that, okay? You're not going to pull the flag. You're going to smack him on the ground. So, and he has to go full speed. So to return from that kind of injury, he's throwing the ball around. But am I going to make this seem like, oh, he's ready to go? If you are out there, if you're one of the machete Bible-toting aunties, relax. I don't think this is as good of a news. It's making news because Shedeur is attached to it. Okay, like, because I mean, the first name that you're gonna read, but after the Watson is Shedeur. So obviously, we have interest in everything that comes out. We're grabbing for crumbs, anything that we can get to hold on to. And you infuse this. If you are a writer, what you want to do is you want to, if he was to just walk out there, you know what I'm saying? You want to write that article because you know people are going to read it. You're like, uh-oh, red flag, Deshaun Watson is coming back. Now instead of 4, we got 5. I would just put this to rest. I wouldn't say this is anything that's significant, because you come out of the, the walking boots. Like my son was in a walking boot and he got out of it, but the problem was still kind of like there. So you can get out of it, and the doctor would say, okay, you're fine to walk without the walking boots, but it doesn't mean that the problem has gone away. So all the machete Bible toting aunties and praying aunties, I think y'all are okay. I don't think there's anything here for us to really worry about. I would put that to bed and say, you know what, don't even worry about it. I think we're good with Watson. Now, here's the thing. All right. I have to do this. I have to share this because it's football. If Watson comes back, that's bad news for us, okay? I told myself I got to stop laughing, okay? But that's just part of I think it's part of me coping. I laugh when I cope. When I first got to America, I didn't understand much English. So I laughed at everything. If I didn't understand what you were saying, I think, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the kids would say stuff on the school bus. I didn't understand what they were saying. It was say scoot over. That was one of the first things I remember. Scoot over. I didn't know what scoot over meant. So I just laughed. They laughed with me. Before you know it, I knew exactly what scoot over meant. All they did was just nudge me over. So I laughed my way out of it. But when I'm trying to do this sports show here, I'm trying not to laugh, but laughing is my coping mechanism. Okay, now, if Watson comes back, we're in trouble. Okay? It ain't going to be no more competition. I promise you that. It ain't going to be no more competition. Watson will start. Everybody else will be out of the door. I think the 2 veterans will probably, one of them they'll keep one of them, and then they'll have to decide what they want to do with the other 2 rookies. But again, I don't think there's any way right now for him to be in football shape to start taking football reps. So that's why you don't really see anybody making any real, push to say he's part of the competition. So here we are with the 4. All right. Now, the other news that's coming out, Tamisa said, go ahead and laugh. Okay, thank you so much. I have to cope with this. So if you've been part of the post on the channel, you see I post a lot. All right. I'm trying to, get everybody to understand that this is a sports channel. The Buffs are the ones that got me here. Thank God for Coach Prime and his diligence and everything that he did when he was growing up. And because of him, we're all here. But I'm trying to let you guys know that when I started this channel, it was supposed to be a sports club where people come and we discuss sports things. So that's why you see me post a lot of sports, different types of sporting things. It's a sports channel, not necessarily a buff channel, even though that's where a lot of my communication and my community has come from. All right. So if you see me posting that, I know a couple of people have had questions about that, but that's why you see that. Eventually, the videos, once I get enough, leverage on the other sports, especially now that we got the NFL popping with the Louis boys, I'm trying to keep track of all the Louis boys. I'm posting a lot of shorts now, so make sure that you check out the shorts. Anything that's happening with Jimmy Horn, LeJohntay Wester, obviously Shedeur, and Travis Hunter, and all of the other boys that are like Shiloh, who are signed. I'm gonna try to make sure I keep up with all of them. So make sure you check out the shorts, and make sure that you check out the communities page, which is now called Post. Anything that I can't do a video for, because when I come to the studio, this is a whole setup. You feel me? It's a little bit more difficult to get this up and running than for me to just go ahead and post on that page. So any type of breaking news, I'm breaking it first on the community post. So make sure that you keep it locked here. I'm feeding you information throughout the entire day. Like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm still posting. All right. I'm working 24/7 on this. You feel me? So I do appreciate everybody. And if you haven't subscribed, because I'm working very hard on this channel, I'm trying to grow this channel to something much bigger than this. So if you haven't subscribed, I very much appreciate you subscribing. And let me get this out too. The last video that I said this Liberian saying, I got the Liberian saying wrong. It's not senior player, it's experienced player don't have to fight for jersey. Okay? Experienced player. When I was saying it on the video, I felt like it sounded wrong, but can you blame me? I ain't been back to Liberia since 1989. I came here in 1989. All right? So I ain't been back since. So it's experienced player don't have to fight for jersey. All right? Not senior player. Senior player kind of worked, but it's experienced player don't have to fight for jersey. I just wanted to make sure one of my Liberian folks checked me on that, and I just wanted to make sure that I got that out there. All right. let me put the information back up. Who wants to come up here and talk about this? Join TLP Live at gmail.com. Join TLP Live at gmail.com. This is a mess, and I don't mind talking about it with somebody. We only got an hour to do that, so you know what I'm saying? We got 30 more minutes to talk about this. Join TLP Live at gmail.com. The wife made me some food because, you know, my bedtime is mad early. So I got to go real soon. So join TLP Live at gmail.com. If you want to talk about it, come on. If you don't, then we'll just keep talking. And if you are feeling generous, I do have a cash app. It is $ TLP Sports Club. I appreciate you. So let me make sure I check the email. I got the email checked so that in case anybody wants to come on here, we got them locked on. All right. So here's the information. The way that it's looking, the information that is being funneled out, the Browns are not really like coming out and putting out official stuff. They're kind of like speaking through this lady, this beat writer. I believe she's the beat writer, Mary Kay. We're just going to call her Mary Kay because C-A-B-O-T. I don't know if it's Cobot or Cobot or whatever it is. So Mary Kay, I guess she's the beat writer. All right. I got beat writers for Colorado, the Colorado Buffaloes. I guess the Browns beat writer. And if you guys are Browns fans, you're out there and you know who your other beat writers are, the people who are close to the team that, you know, sometimes they'll leak information through that beat writer. I need the beat writer. Those are the people I live through. I live through the beat writers because on this here channel, I'm a data channel. So I bring information that is more so connected to a writer. So that way I'm not just telling you stuff that people are saying on Twitter. You feel me? Like I need the beat writer because the beat writer is going to be more linked to the closest to the truth and not the national media because they got people that they'll call and those, you know, that information is not always authentic. The beat writers, their job is on the line. So everything that they report is almost like I can trust them like CNN or MSNBC, Fox, and all those other. Yeah. Let that go through over your head. Trusting some of those people is a little difficult nowadays. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. Real journalism. That's why I need the beat writer. So if y'all know any more beat writers other than Mary Kay, let me know because I need to know that I need to make sure that I got all of the beat writers and information that's coming out from the organization. I should do a quick segment on the Caitlin Clark versus oh man, flagrant foul. I missed that boat. I missed that. So I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it alone. I wasn't part of it. I didn't get ahead of that. So I was told I should, but I didn't see it. I've been busy. All right. I got a high school graduate that's coming up, and I had to do landlords. I got business that I'm handling. A lot of stuff going on this month. And whew, boy, it's too much going on. That's why I'm tired. You can see my eyes, okay? Even though I'm Liberian, you know, we don't really crack too much. Yeah, man. I didn't see. I'm I cannot believe I didn't see it. I thought it was the old stuff from last year when I started seeing Ryan Clark and everybody talking about it and RG3 arguing about Ryan Clark calling RG3, you know what I'm saying, like his wife is white, so he ain't talking about nothing at home that's black. I was like, wait, what's going on? Is this old? Because then we have a flagrant last year too? I'm thinking like, why are they talking about old stuff? Then I look at the timestamp, I'm like, this is new? I had no idea what was going on. Nothing. So I know you're gonna boo me. But we got quarterback stuff going on. Okay, we got quarterback stuff. Like you can't. Come on now, quarterback stuff going on. This is more important. Even though I love the drama, there's mad drama going on. Obviously, people are taking sides and stuff like that. Y'all are always taking sides. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all need to leave this racial stuff alone. Like, y'all just think, oh, black and white. Oh, my goodness. It's black and white all over again. Look, man, I go to a white church. I ain't got time for no black and white conversations, okay? Y'all can have that. I'm done. I'm so done. I don't want to hate, okay? I don't want to hate, and I don't want y'all to keep hating on each other. We're too divided. Politics got us divided. Let's leave that stuff alone. These are all God's people. We're all God's people. All my pastors, well, one is black. Anyways, Cleveland Browns, Shedeur Sanders falling behind. Let's start over. Cleveland Browns, Shedeur Sanders falling behind Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel on the depth chart. All right. The Cleveland Browns plan to have quarterbacks Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel splitting the first and second team reps to begin NFL organized team activities, OTAs. Quarterbacks Shedeur Sanders and Joe Flacco will split the third and fourth team reps as the team prepares for training camp and preseason games. This was written by Bri, B-R-I, Amaranthus. Thank you for the story. The Cleveland Browns plan to have former first round NFL draft pick Kenny Pickett and former Oregon Ducks quarterback Dylan Gabriel splitting the first and second team reps to begin NFL organized team activities, according to a report from Browns insider Mary Kay. All right, see, that's the person that I need to connect with. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll have Mary Kay on the show. You never know. God is in the blessing business. I just reached out to Josh Pate. All right. I reached out to Josh Pate because he got the whole Deion tax thing going on. And I was like, hey, Josh, we are the Deion tax over there with the BWBs. Can you come on the show? Can you talk to my audience? So I'm reaching out to the big dogs now. I'm just throwing my hook out. I'm hoping to get one of these people to come onto the show so that we can have, they can come on the live. You feel me? I'm starting to spread my wings a little bit. I'm starting to detach myself, separate myself from the competition. I want the big dogs. I ain't trying to get the little fish. I want the big fish. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm working on it. I'm working here. Former Colorado Buffaloes quarterback Shedeur Sanders and 40-year-old veteran Joe Flacco will split the third and fourth team reps as the team prepares for training camp and preseason games. All right? Now, I don't have to read all the other yada, 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 yada stuff. Or maybe I have to read this part. I have to read it. Sanders and the Browns made it official on Monday, agreeing to terms on a 4-year, $4.6 million deal. Sanders' deal includes a $447,380 signing bonus. He's like, bro, I made this by just sneezing in college. All right. The deal is nearly $42 million less than what Sanders would have made at number 2 overall. Shedeur becomes the fourth rookie draft pick to sign his deal with the Browns, leaving three additional players left. All right. So the Browns coach, Kevin Stefanski, is in a unique scenario with 4 quarterbacks vying to become Cleveland's starting quarterback for the 2025 NFL season. 5 quarterbacks if you count Deshaun Watson, who is still on the team but likely out for 2025 after such, you know about the Achilles heel. Okay. All right. So this is real. This is really real. All right. We've talked about it extensively. At least I have, and other channels have as well. It's real. You're preparing for the NFL season. and you got to start getting the team up and ready to go. Because on day number 1, you're going to have to play some real snaps. So who is it going to be? We don't know. So this preseason, this mini camp and everything that's going on, you got to figure this out. And you got to do it very quick or quickly. All right? This is not a game. Well, it's a game, but it's not a game. We're not playing around here. You can't do, it's not going to be a forever thing. So when Shedeur gets on that field and they say, okay, you got a couple of reps, he's going to have to maximize every single rep that he gets. And when I say maximize, you can't throw no ducks. Like the window where he can, like, if he was the second overall pick, the window where he can grow and, you know, mess up a little bit, take his time to get comfortable, he ain't got no room to get comfortable. Straight up. Shedeur has zero room to get comfortable. Like, you're going to have to come out and boom, boom, boom. Like, every pass is going to have to be your best pass. Because you don't have that many reps. It's just the facts. Like, you don't have it. All right? You got to count the amount of reps that's happening. You ain't got it. Shedeur does not have the reps. And then he has to share those limited reps with Joe Flacco. If the story is true. We don't know if this story is true because the general manager already said there's a quarterback competition. But if you break it down the way that it's happening, Mary Kay seems like she's the person to trust. When you have an insider like Mary Kay saying this is what's happening, somebody's talking unofficially. This is why on this channel I use the writers. The writers, the beat writers, they're very close to the team. They talk to the right people. They're not like the guys that are on these talk shows, like The Facility and all these other podcasts, the millions of podcasts that are out here that have their own person or people. Sometimes those people could be a janitor. Sometimes it could be somebody who's a water boy. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got a person, right? Like, hey, what you hear? You know what I'm saying? You make that phone call, he like, hey, yo, what you hear? Hey, yo, I was sweeping today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was pretending like I was sweeping on the field. Like, you got to sweep the field, right? I was pretending like I was cutting the grass, even though I'm not the grass cutting crew. I clean the bathrooms. But you know what I'm saying? Like, Shedeur got like 2 reps. So I think it's Shedeur. I think it's Shedeur. Like, that's not how this works. Okay? It don't work like this. But if you listen to all these guys on these podcasts, everybody got somebody, okay, that they're calling to try to get information. And the somebodies that everybody got are not all equal, okay? They don't all have the same amount of information. So you got to trust the writers, okay? So Mary Kay is the person that I would say, okay, if Mary Kay is right, then that means that the pecking order is looking like Pickett, Dillon. And the only reason why it's Dillon has nothing to do with Shedeur and his abilities. It's not like Shedeur actually went in the rookie mini camp and stunk it up and then Dillon beat him out. It's not that. It's just because of how they recruited. If you are the general manager and you recruited in a specific order, you're putting your job on the line by saying, I don't care about this. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, because then there's no confidence in what you did. You went and spent millions of dollars on certain people and you're not giving them the priority. You got to explain that. It's not just something that you're just going to just throw on the wayside and be like, okay, we don't need that. That's not how this works. All right, so let me make sure nobody's trying to come on here. Let me just open up the email. All right, nobody's trying to come on here. So I keep talking. I'm about to be out of here anyways. Like I said, all right, we got like 20 more minutes for the show. But this is real. We're in a real situation now. You start counting the reps. How much time does it take for you to get the okay, I would say the best opportunity is going to be in the in OTAs, right? So the mini camps and the OTAs, this is going to be the best opportunity. They're going to have to do something real quick and to try to get some type of separation. If everybody is like gelling and everybody's, you know, on the same level, depending on who you listen to or who your favorite Browns reporter is or podcast is. This person is saying it's Shedeur. It's not even close. And then another person goes on another radio show or podcast and they say, no, Dylan Gabriel actually looked a lot better than Shedeur, his decision-making, his timing, and all of these things. We're getting so much misinformation that I feel like, come on, like, I don't know how the Browns organization operates, but I need something official. I need something more. I'm tired. I'm sorry that we got to, like, the content creators that you trust, we're YouTubers. And we're finding every crumb in every corner of the internet, and just to try to keep you, up to date. But to tell you the truth, the Browns are not really like saying much. All right. I mean, they are the worst organization in the daggone NFL. Worst. When I say worst, they are the bottom of the daggone NFL. They created this mess, and they are not allowing anything out. They're not telling us nothing. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're not telling us nothing. Nothing official. So they got a small window to try to make sure that they get some type of separation. And I don't even know if that's enough, because if a guy is in the red shirt, or depending on which color it is, you can't really rush him. You can't do nothing. Obviously, his decision-making is going to be a little bit more comfortable than if you got a 300 or 400-pound guy rushing you. In your mind, that stress that you're thinking, if this guy falls on me, I don't know if I'll make it home. That kind of stress, like the military trains, right? In a situation, you can't put the military to train in regular situations. You got to put them under stress. You need stress to be able to know for sure that this is real decision-making. A decision-making is not based on somebody being comfortable and throwing the ball. Even for our Shedeur, we know he's accurate, but we know he's clutch. We know Shedeur, he performs way better under clutch situations than most quarterbacks in college that he came out with, right? So I want to know, what are they going to do to start creating some stressful situations for these already protected quarterbacks, so that we can know if there is any type of situation or separation that is being caused by this organization, or at least come out and tell us something. All right, so Todd Smith said Mary Kay does not want Shedeur to win. I don't know why you're saying that, Todd Smith. Shedeur is the best spot to beat out everyone else. Shedeur's in his best spot to beat out everyone else if the Browns going to make it a competition. That's what I'm saying. Like, the GM is saying one thing, Mary Kay saying another thing. I don't know if Mary Kay is getting it directly from the head coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who she's getting the information from. So it's hard for you to really, like, extrapolate and make sense out of this stuff to try to help the fan base, because you're like, okay, who's saying this? I know that the pecking order, you have to go by how you drafted. And then the guy that was here in 2023, he took y'all to the playoff. He stunk it up in 2024. You feel me? Y'all didn't even know who y'all wanted to pick. The little bit of information that I got on these smelly doodoo guys. Did I tell you I didn't want to be here? Anyways. So it's as real as it gets. When you start breaking down the amount of reps, we had this thing called two-a-days in high school. When I used to play football, we had two-a-days. That means that we start in the morning, and then we take a break. We come back in the afternoon, and we practice again. There is no more two-a-days in the NFL. They got rid of the two-a-days. So now it's only one day. You get one day, and you gotta simultaneously prepare the first team while you prepare the other guys. So when you start taking reps, the guys start getting tired. The day progresses. You know what I'm saying? You bring on the first team, the second team, the third team, and then the fourth. By the time you get to the fourth team, like the third, you got Flacco. If Mary Kay's right, you got Flacco, you got Shedeur. I don't feel any kind of way about Flacco and Shedeur. I really wanted Shedeur and Dylan, right? Because it's like Flacco is old. Like, bruh, the only advantage that Flacco has is the fact that he already ran the offense. So he's going to be familiar with that playbook. He's an NFL guy, so he knows how to read the defenses much quicker. Shedeur, yes, I know a lot of y'all are going to say Shedeur has been under Shermer and other NFL style plays in college, but it ain't the same. All right, Flacco has the years. He has the years twice. He has the 40, right? He has the 40 on him. That's a lot of years, right? If you want to flip that on the negative side, but then if you flip it on the positive side, he has the years. So he has the NFL years. So the way that he look, the feel, he can look smoother than Shedeur. But what they need to see in Shedeur is his decision-making, his accuracy over Flacco. If he can prove that his decision-making, his accuracy, and the fact that he has youth on him, and he can think quicker and get away quicker, that's gonna be in his favor. So that's what we want to see with Shedeur. I believe that Shedeur can win the job over Flacco. We're going to have to see that. So how is Dillon or Pickett ahead of Flacco? We got to think about this like, you got to think, K. Hayes, what's up? Think about it like this. Pickett he was a first round draft pick. He's much younger than Flacco. I believe his arms and he'll be a little stronger than Flacco, right? So that's how they're thinking. Flacco is the old guy you brought in. He was on his couch. He was chilling, doing whatever he was doing. You called him in because you needed help. Then you traded for Pickett. You traded for Pickett and you brought him in. Pickett can play, all right, because he's a former first rounder and he's younger. So you're looking at him like the rookies. But he's a couple of steps ahead of the rookies, but he's younger. So that's why you go with him. All right. Now, he's the old guy, but he has more experience than everybody in the room. But his play has been declining. If you watched him last year, or if you watched the time that he was playing with him, there were times where he would miss the receiver. He would overthrow them, underthrow them. So his time is declining. He's an OG, but this guy he's the truth. He can play. But the name of the game is youth. All right? Youth. If you can get a young quarterback that can play, if you want to go to your favorite, your best example is the Commanders. All right? You get a quarterback like Daniels and it's lights out. That's what you want to do. And then he has so many years ahead of him. So you want to get that guy in there. You want to get him acclimated and you want to get him going. Start getting used to the offensive line. Start building relationships. You don't want a bunch of guys, you know what I'm saying, like testing your girl. You know what I'm saying? The offensive line is the girl, okay? You want to make sure. Let me not go there. But yeah, man, you want that first team offensive line to figure out who their guy at center is going to be. You want to know. Because you start building this camaraderie, this relationships have to start. You got to start gelling. You got to start assimilating soon because the season is about to start. You don't have a lot of time to be bringing guys back and forth. So that's what we want to figure this out as fast as we can. So the Cleveland Browns, with all the mess that they've created, they got to figure this out as quickly as possible. So how quickly are they going to figure this out? They only got a couple of weeks to do this. They don't have a long time. Like I'm trying to tell you right now, the way that the NFL works, they don't have a long time because every other team that have their number one, their QB1, they're starting to implement plays and they're starting to work on those plays. So you don't want to be the guy, the team that's out here trying to figure out, who we going with? We don't know who we want to go with. So we can't really work on our plays because if we start putting the plays in for Shedeur, then he's not the guy. Then now we got to do a whole nother thing for Dillon Gabriel if he's the guy, or Pickett, or is Watson coming back? What? You see why this is a mess? It's a mess. It's a big old mess. At a certain point, we want to get to a place where we start running the place, because if it's one of these new quarterbacks, you got to figure this out as fast as possible, because they have to get comfortable. You don't want them in a game situation and they're in their head. Like, they got to get to a place where they're so comfortable that the plays, you know what I'm saying, you've gone over it several times, and you've gotten them ready that they can just run the plays in their dreams. But if you don't choose the quarterback, the QB1, until late in the whole preseason, how are you going to know which plays that's going to be more comfortable for the actual quarterback? This ain't no situation where it's like one size fits all. It's not a one size fits all situation. You got a playbook, but the quarterback that you end up picking, they have strengths and weaknesses. So you're going to have to play to their strengths. And that OC, the offensive coordinator, is going to have to start to figure out plays that are in that playbook that are more conducive for that specific quarterback, and then start to develop that whole thing for that quarterback to make sure that quarterback, him and the quarterback are gelling. That's how the NFL, that's how everything works. All right? They got to hurry up. Val said they are going to start Shedeur. They afraid to say since they drafted him 5th round. I mean, we're Shedeur fans around here, so we're feeling kind of like, you know what I'm saying? We feel like, yeah, we want Shedeur to play. But it's just not how it's going to work out. You don't have the reps. We need a lot of reps to see what Shedeur can do. We need chaos. We need frustration. We need to put him in a lot of different scenarios. This is not a time where we're just going to stand around and say, hey, Shedeur, throw it to that guy while he's in a t-shirt. That's not football. All right? That's not football. That's not how you test a quarterback, whether he's able to do the job or not. All right? You're going to have to start doing all of those plays that those guys, those NFL guys, they're like, when they're calling it, especially Matt McCartney, when he's Matt McChesney, I'm sorry, not McCartney. That coach is McCartney, but the former coach. May his soul rest in power. But so when McChesney, when they're calling those plays and they're saying all the different variations of the play, imagine Shedeur has to get used to all of that, know which variation, who's being replaced in that variation, because each variation has a slight adjustment for each player, right? If we call hot potato minus the grits, I'm just giving you an example now. Hot potato minus the grits is for, let's say, the tight end. All right. So if we say hot potato minus the grits, I said we're taking out the tight end minus the tight end. Right. But it's not just hot potato minus the grits. It's hot potatoes with sugar. Right. If you like your grits with sugar, right. Butter pecan. Like, it gets so convoluted. There's so much going on. So everything that you're saying is not just for you to be saying it. You're saying it for a specific player on that line. So hot potato minus the grits, butter pecan. If you like sugar grits, yada, 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 yada. Break on 4. That means something for each player. So the whole thing is not for everybody. Each player is actually listening for their specific thing. So the second that guy, the tight end, hears minus the grits, right? He already know, all right, I'm blocking. This play is not for me to catch the ball. So that's how the NFL things works. They're going to say it really fast. Hop into the minus the grits. Okay, and say, let's go. But it's for you who's watching, you're not going to know none of that. But the players do. They know exactly, because each person, the running back is listening. You know what I'm saying? The linemen, they already got their assignment. Everybody's listening for their assignment. They're like, okay, that's not for me. That's not for me. That's okay. Oh, he just said, oh, okay. So I'm gonna go 5. I'm taking 5 steps and I'm cutting to the right. That's how it works. So now think about that. Shedeur has to get all of that and 1,000 of those and memorize them and be comfortable for all of that to work for him. All right. Quit downplaying him. Downplaying who? Who am I downplaying? This is not about feelings. Let me just let y'all know. All right? This has nothing to do with feelings. Like you got to learn all of that, what I just said, but keep in mind you got to learn 100 of those, like more than 100 of those. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you got to learn all of those things. The thing about it is, it's the thing that it takes time for you to memorize them, but just to memorize that is another thing. To be comfortable and knowing each person, knowing their positions, and then the OC might just say, "Kill it." You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta know it. So it's not about the ability; it's about being comfortable and just knowing it. So who would you go with if you were the OC or you were the head coach? Who would you go with? The young guy that has the ability, all of the ability, he's very accurate, but he's thinking a little bit. So the second that he has to think is causing you time for you to like readjust and you know what I'm saying, and you're losing. He gets the pass there, or you will feel comfortable if you are the coach. You know that guy knows that play. He knows everything. So you don't have he's not in his head. So this might take Shedeur some time. It might take some months for him to get to that place. So for all you machete Bible praying aunties out there and uncles, I'm just gonna let y'all know. Y'all gotta it's time for us to get rid of the feelings and get down with the nitty-gritty. The nitty-gritty, as I always say on this channel, the nitty-gritty is now this is where it gets real funky. This is where it gets real. No more feelings about how you feel about nothing. It's time for you to learn the NFL game. You got to learn the college game because if you still supporting Coach Prime, we're going to talk college too. But you got to know the NFL game. We don't want to be in the chat room and you're just like, oh, push Shedeur in. He may not be ready. That's just the facts. Like, there's no other way around it. There's a lot to this game than just push Shedeur in. We got to chill and we got to be ready for the season. We already know his abilities. I know his abilities. It goes beyond than just abilities. All right. There's a lot. Like when you see the binder for the NFL playbook, this thing is that thick. It's like this high. You feel me? It could be just several plays with a billion variations. And each thing that is connected to it, it has to do with a very specific player. Who's going to get the ball? Who's not getting the ball? Who blocks? Where they're taking their man at? You're taking your man to the left. You're taking him to the right. All of those things. If y'all remember the infamous Cormani McLean going the wrong direction and his man yelling at him and saying, bruh, you're going in the wrong direction. If y'all remember that, that is possible when it comes to Shedeur. So we got to strip our feelings now. The ink is dried on the contract. Get rid of all of your feelings. This is where it gets down to big boy game. Let me bring my man DC on so he can help me with this conversation. DC, what up with you, man? Thank you for calling. I appreciate you, brother.
Man, nothing much is going on. Hope all is well. I hear you cooking.
I'm trying to make sure that I bring us up to speed because there are some people that still got like feelings and they're thinking that their feelings is what we need to deal with. This is no more feelings. That's all I'm saying. We can't it's over now. He's on a team. We're going to leave the drive slide dance alone. And this is where it's real. Your thoughts on that, please.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, I know that, the thing for Shedeur is to love Shedeur. Shedeur is a great player. I know that, especially in our community, we're all about faith, hope, positive, all that kind of stuff. However, you still have to kind of look at that. There's room for hope and faith, but there's also room to discuss how things are normally done, the process of procedures.
Right.
So I think that we can say that he should have been number one drafted, but right now he is the fifth player drafted. I mean, he was drafted in the fifth round, 144. So the
Mm-hmm.
Browns he's going to have to earn it. It's not going to be because everybody's loving him, and I love you, see you aunties, but that's not going to be necessarily what gets him there. What's
Mm-hmm.
going to get him there is him going in, getting a good grasp of the playbook, and maximizing every single rep that he gets. He has to do that because the way, if you look at the way that the Browns are doing, they're not depending on any of these folks to be their franchise QB. They're looking to next year. So
Mm.
should I mean, because think about it, they traded back in this draft. They also traded draft pick to get Pickett. So that's there. You can look at how they're doing things. It's not to have their a world beater QB this year. This year is more about bend but don't break. Once they and they're looking towards next year QB draft, which is pretty deep. It's deeper than this one to
Mm-hmm.
get their QB. So Shedeur has here's the keys for success. Shedeur come in there, get that playbook. He's not gonna have it all down up front because it's a lot. He's got to be able to pick up blitzes. And the game is exponentially faster, folks. I mean, you're not looking at people were going to be bagging groceries, some in the Big 12 that was just playing defensive back and nothing against them. You're talking about all-star athletes. And you're also talking about a team that does not have a lot of pieces to it to be that to be over 500. They won 3 games last year.
Their projected win total was 4.5 or something like that.
Yeah, it's 4.5. So here's the thing. Shador can't come in there and be just a little better than Dylan.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to be. He can't be a little
It's
better
got to
than
be lights
Pickett.
out. It's got to be lights out.
Bro, it's got to be where he grabs the reins and does. He's got to go in like Brady did, or like when Brett Favre when he first got in. You got to get in and never let it go. You can't let up.
It's got to be Heisman performance. Like I'm not trying to like. I have no other way to sugarcoat it for the fan base. Like Shador, what he has to do to win that job, he's got to come in there and it's got to be like he got to play way better than he's played in college. Like now it's big boy time. It ain't gonna be like there is nothing you can do if you're regular and everybody else in front of you is regular, they're gonna win the job. I mean, it's not your namesake. There's nothing here. Like I'm trying my best to try to see. I'm pulling for straws here, but besides your Bibles and your prayers and everything that we're all holding on to, you got to think the fact that somebody else is praying also. Right? Like other people are praying. Like we're not the only praying group. Other people are praying. So Shador's chances, he's coming in there, he's got to play lights out. No room for failure. Zero room for failure. And I'm not trying to like do this thing where I like people don't feel comfortable or not nothing. Like I'm not trying to make you feel uncomfortable or scared. But this is the reality. There's not enough snaps to count. It's just not there.
So
If
check
you
this.
think about this, go ahead.
Check this out. I know, like Shantae was saying, is that they got all day to learn a playbook. I'm gonna give you an example. When I went to flight school, about the third day, I went in there and they gave me boxes of books, and I had to learn about federal aviation regulations. I had to learn the aeronautical information manuals. I had to learn everything about this helicopter, what the temperatures, the hydraulic fluid needed to be, the turbine. I had to learn a ton of stuff. Okay, and then check this out. Once I learned how to fly it, which was primary, then I had to go and learn an advanced aircraft. And then so you would think, all right, well, that's pretty simple. But I'm still now almost having to learn everything. I haven't had to learn a new set, and it takes your brain a while to stuff all the information. I mean, and when you look at an NFL playbook, it's about as thick as is some of the books that I had to sit there and look at. So what
Bro,
I'm saying is, go
that thing
ahead,
is thick.
man. Right. So at the end of the day, and guess what? You have to have responsible. So listen to what Harry B say. Harry B never said he had to be perfect. Not once did he say that. He just said he had to go in there and play lights out. And
Lights
sometimes
out.
that is when you come back and let's say he threw a bad pass or a pick or something, come back. Hey, I knew what was going on. The Mike linebacker shifted up to safety. I didn't look at him. I was looking at something else because the end been eating us up all day and on my blind side. And they'll go, you know what? You realize the mistake that you made, and then now you're correcting it. Here's what I'm gonna do next time. Let's look at maybe and even talking to the OC up in the booth. Hey, this is what and asking, okay, tell me what I can do, X, Y, and Z. That's the stuff. And Shedeur can do that. But we gotta give him grace because it might not look good at the beginning.
So K Hayes wants to know what has Dylan done. So this is how it goes. Like I tried my best to try to explain this. This is not about us. It's not about our feelings, how we are looking at this and how we feel about Shedeur. This is about how the NFL process works. You got to think about the fact that he was drafted third round. All right. When you are drafting, if you are a general manager, your job is on the line. You cannot draft somebody, give them $6 million, but then you play the guy that you gave $4.6 million. That's sending a bad message like you don't know how to do your job. That's what that means. All right. So that means, and rumor has it, Dylan Gabriel was the guy that the head coach wanted the entire time. The only reason why Shedeur is on this team, somebody talked to the owner and let him know how it could have been like his grandchild. Somebody said, "Hey, Shedeur is the best quarterback in this draft, and he's still there. You might want to go get Shedeur." So the owner goes and makes that call. So just so y'all understand, like Shedeur was not like for months. Dylan Gabriel, like the head coach was and the general manager, they were salivating over Dylan Gabriel. He was their guy. That's the rumor. So Shedeur was not in this picture. This is last minute owner saying, all right, so if you feel that comfortable about whoever his confidence is or was, that let him know, hey, it could have been Coach Prime. I don't know. Anybody, right? He had to talk to somebody because all of this time, you got to think about all of the months leading up to the draft. The head coach and the GM are convincing the owner who they're going to get. So they're locked in. So what happens the last second, right? What do you think the last second? Do you think that the owner knows more football than the people that he hired to run the business? That's not how this works. What happened is somebody got into the owner's ear and said, Shedeur is one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the draft. Regardless of how you feel, you are about to let that quarterback go. Go get him. Am I right or am I right, DC?
You are right. I mean, I think that was a smart move to pick him up. Um, that was a last pick of the
But he didn't do
draft.
that on his own. That's what I'm saying. The
Right, right.
owner
So I
did
think
not do that on his own.
well, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, if this was what you say, then like I said, I hadn't seen anything, but he may have got that advice from somebody else, or been thinking whatever. I'm not sure. But one thing I want to say is that like this, I think the tendency sometimes to say, "Well, they're not saying that about Dylan Gabriel," and you got to look at this for what it is, folks. I get it. This is your feelings is Shedeur should have been a number one draft pick, and and this should not even be an issue, but it is. So now when
Right.
you start looking at different things about how locker rooms work, when you start looking at stuff that they can like agreements, like player agreements, different things like that, and what their contract is, you got to understand is that a third round pick is generally going to get more preference than a fifth round pick. It does not mean that the fifth round pick is just automatically going to be off the team. It just means and if you sit back and say this, folks, I hate to burst the bubble with it. Like Shedeur did some great things in college, and I think he's going to be a fine QB. Now, whether he's going to be a GOAT or something like that, that's to be determined out of all of them. But you do have to factor in is that Dylan Gabriel in on slouch. He's not going to roll over, and you cannot take 3 days of folks. When you look at minicamp, you do realize that you're looking at a few of those players were drafted. Most of them were undrafted free agents, and then a couple of and got an invite to minicamp. Some of them, so they're not up against pros. You're talking about throwing the ball to people that probably are not going to make the team, or you have a line or whatever. So, but you can't take that because going 7-7, there's not much pressure. That's not going to tell you anything. That's more of being acclimated to the process. And we can sit here and say Shedeur made all the best
Well,
throws. That's fine.
let me say this because
Mhm.
I think K Hayes need to understand what we're saying. Let's slow this down so that you can understand what we're saying. The general manager's job is on the line. I need you to please hear this. The general manager's job is on the line. You have to adhere to your draft order. If you don't, that means that you don't know what you're doing. You cannot sell to the owner and the organization your draft order and then reverse it when it's time to play. You can only do that if the player outshines another person. That's why we're trying to break this down in segments so you can understand what we're saying. The general manager's job is on the line. The Cleveland Browns have sucked for a long time. His only saving grace is the fact that Flacco came in, took them to the playoff in 2023. They stunk it up again in 24. We're in 25 now. And there's no true starter. But you cannot draft a third rounder, and then treat them the same as the fifth rounder. You just don't have the snaps. I don't know how else to explain this. This is real now. You got to count the amount of snaps. You have to. Like, the fan base have to get out of our feelings, and we have to count snaps. 1, prepare the first team. NFL season starts in a couple of months. You got to get the first team going. Who's taking those reps? We got to figure this out very fast, right? So who's taking those reps? This has nothing to do with how we think and feel about Shedeur Sanders. We're talking about strictly how the NFL works. So his job is on the line. There's no way Shedeur's leapfrogging him unless Shedeur plays it out. You can add something to that, DC.
Well, I will say is that again, nobody's saying that Shedeur can't be Gabriel. Nobody's saying. I'm not saying that.
For some reason,
But
people are hearing that.
I,
I don't know how
and
you can hear that in what we're saying.
I
Why are we
don't
haters?
even.
What are
I,
we hating on?
you know what? I get it, and I get the love for Shedeur, so I don't push back on that. But we're not talking about who we like right now. We're just talking
Or
about
his
the
abilities.
process. Right. We ain't saying that he's not gonna make it. Because yes, Dylan, it's possible he can get cut. That's true. There's possibility that he could be on the practice squad, but they have to cut you in order for you to get on the practice squad.
Look, if Dylan and Shedeur plays the same, Shedeur gets cut. I'm going to repeat that for the people in the back of the room. If Dylan and Shedeur play at the same level, and we go to that war room, and we have to start cutting people, Shedeur gets cut.
Shedeur cannot, in order for Shedeur to maximize this opportunity, he cannot afford to be a feather better than Dylan. It don't
Right.
work that way, folks. It
It don't.
cannot be, especially on a team where you know that check this, where you know they're looking toward where it looks like they're looking towards the 26. This is not their year. Think about it. They drafted a linebacker, I believe, gave that linebacker 40 million. And understand the Browns had the second pick in the first round. They could have picked Travis and came back around and got Shedeur, but they didn't. That ought to tell you they're looking for 2026. So with that said,
I
is
think they won that Manning kid. I think they won Arch Manning.
They either want him or Nussmeyer or one of those. That's very possible. Now, some can sit back and say, well, what has this person done? What has that person done? That's out of my scope. I can't sit there and tell you what they're thinking. I can sit back and tell you that's what they're doing. Here's the thing. Besides, they was not going to be able to pay Shedeur nor Travis the money anyway, because they still got to pay Watson.
That's
So
right.
you're not going to give Shedeur $100-something million contract or 200. Oh, well, it wouldn't be that high for a rookie because you normally get the second one. You're not going to give him that when you still got Watson on the roster.
40,
And I
40
think,
million.
hey,
They're still owe Watson 50.
right. So at the end of the day, is they don't really have a whole lot of move because you can't necessarily cut them while they're on IR. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So they got a QB issue, folks. Look at this: 2023. That and Flacco was there at 2023. I believe
Yo,
that
who is JOK?
I forget who that is, but they had 5 quarterbacks on the roster. All of them played. They started 5 quarterbacks in 2023, and last year they started 4. We ain't even talk about DTR, who's gone now. And
Yeah.
now you have Pickett, and so now you got to
Listen.
look at it. That's crazy. 5 quarterbacks in one season. Y'all got to look at this is a mess, and Shedeur ain't gonna be able to come in and fix it overnight. The truth be told, and I think some people say I'd rather see him sit, learn, and go somewhere else or be trade bait next year than to sit here and go through this because at the end of the day, he is gonna get a chance to play. I can pretty much guarantee that. I think he's going to get a chance to start. I don't know if he starts before Gabriel, but again, that comes back to if he comes out and he has to be head above shoulders better than him, then he can start.
So
But
now, okay, that was Jeremiah Owusu. What name is that? Koromora.
right. So they got
Also,
the line.
so their $40 million linebacker is out for the season. Injured? Man, I gotta do a deep dive on this team. I don't
I
want to
didn't,
be
I
here.
didn't, I didn't. Yeah, I don't think he was there. He came in and he was their first round pick and got drafted. That's who that is, the linebacker.
Hey, DC, this is what they want to hear. This is what some of the fans want to hear. If Shedeur is given a good opportunity, a decent, not it doesn't have to be great. If Shedeur gets a decent opportunity to showcase his skills, he can win the job over any quarterback in that room.
He can.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, he can. I mean,
Shedeur,
it's no lie.
Shedeur is capable of winning the starting job, given the
Yes.
opportunity to showcase his talent. What we're trying to talk about right now is not whether he can do it, it's the fact that he may not have that many opportunities because the NFL has rules. The rules, you got to do a certain amount of snaps and you cannot break the rules for anybody, whether it's Shedeur or Deion Sanders himself. So within the rules, they got to start thinking about their season. So how do you prepare for your season when you got 5 people in a room that you got to try to figure out whether they can play? Maybe take a weekend off and go to the beach. Go to Maryland Eastern Shore. I don't know. Go to Maryland Eastern Shore and go practice. Go see if they can play or not. But you can't do it within the NFL confines. You cannot do it. Like you got a certain amount of snaps that you're going to have to share. This is while you're still preparing for your NFL season. So if he gets 25 snaps, he's lucky.
Yeah, but you know what? How he wins is, of course, in the OTAs, after practice, and whenever they're in that QB room and they're asking questions, Shedeur got to be on point. You see what I'm saying? Because I heard like I don't know who it was that was talking about reps. Reps aren't just in the field; they're also in the film room. And when you're asked a question, if you're answering it, that's also part of the unwritten reps. Like if he has a knowledge of the game or what's going on, like when they stack up defenses, if he has a knowledge of it, then that's going to help him out because it says, okay, I see Shedeur is putting in that work. He's in like his daddy. His daddy
Oh yeah,
studied everything.
I'm glad you bring that up. So there are little unwritten rules or things that Shedeur can do to prove that he could be the quarterback number 1. It's not just about on the field. We already know what he's capable of on the field. Shedeur being prepared, his smarts. Remember, his dad said that he's very smart and he's grown and he can catch that stuff real quick. If Shedeur can show the leadership that he has a grasp of this thing and he's not thinking, because the last thing you want a quarterback to start doing is thinking on the field, especially like a cop. If you give the handbook to a cop and you put him out on the beat, DC, you can talk on this. You don't want a cop to be thinking while he's trying to do the job. Like, you want to make sure that cop is ready to go on the beat, because this stuff is real. It's life or death situation, right? On the beat with a cop. You don't want the cop to be thinking.
if you thinking, you dead.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just telling you right now, some of the stuff I didn't see. If you thinking and you're not reacting, now of course
You gotta
reacting
be ready to
responsibly
go.
and stuff. You because stuff. I can tell y'all stories of somebody saying they ain't got a gun on them. They turn to the side. You saw a 45 in their waistband. Stuff gets real hairy real quick. But that could be another discussion. But I want to.
That's what I'm saying. But that's
It's
how,
fast.
this is the reality. This is the correlation of the playbook. Shedeur being ready is that it's not about, oh, he knows the playbook. It's about, does he know it like the back of his head and he can spit it out without thinking. Because the second you start to think, those NFL linebackers are way faster and way bigger than those linebackers you were facing in the Big 12. So ain't no time to think. That's what they're going to be paying attention to.
You got defensive ends that are running sub 540s. That ain't a lot of time at all.
Not at
Put it
all.
like this. Do y'all remember the Nebraska game?
Those two dudes were killing us.
Yeah, and those dudes got drafted. One of them got drafted in the later rounds. That guy still, how fast they were killing you, because they were fast. It was boom, it's gone. You gotta understand, he ain't gonna have a lot of time. If y'all sit back and look at it, Watson got hurt not when he was running a scramble or trying to extend the play. He got it when he was backing up the pass because that line was not good. So that's what Shadeur's got to be able to understand. I mean, think about it. They went through a lot of QBs last year. So he's got to be mindful because these dudes can lay on you and crush you like nothing. But it's something Shantae said. I want to touch on this real quick.
Yeah.
I get the business side, and people will say, hey, you're going to get visibility. But I want to touch that for a second.
We're not even there. We're not even there tonight. I'm not even trying to go over there tonight. I'm just trying to stick on the facts of what's happening right now in front of us.
Yes, I'm gonna say this.
If he makes the team, I mean, come on,
yeah,
the sky's the limit.
Right.
Go ahead, get it out.
Right. So real quick, it's that the TV stuff is already set in stone. The Browns don't have any primetime games. Most of these games, if you don't live in that area, you're gonna have to get it off an NFL network or you know what, leg it. Or shoe leg it, we'll call it. Then you're gonna have to get it from someplace else. As far as like jersey sales, that's nice, but billionaires ain't tripping too hard on jerseys, pom-poms, and koozies and stuff like that. That doesn't make them, just because you like that. That is a business side to it, and that probably is one of the factors of the owner picking it. And yes, you'll get more eyeballs on that game, but this is a different ball game. The business model, these guys don't lose money. That man, the Brown's been losing for years, and right now he could sell that bad boy for what, Harry, about 4 million, 3 billion. He could sell that team. He's still gonna get paid. So at the end of the day, is the business model that we saw JSU and CSU is not the same as NFL. NFL is global. NFL has all kind of little stuff in there. I understand this is a billionaire driven league. So they're going to get their money. And the cities absolutely, because
so let me clean that up a little bit for DC. It's not that it's not important, because I know a lot of y'all are hearing that.
But that ain't what I said.
I ain't saying it's not important.
I said they ain't tripping as much.
Be a deciding factor when they're making decisions who starts and who doesn't. That's a part of the thing that comes with him. You want to think about that. But at the end of the day, the coach's job is on the line. The general manager's job is on the line. The owner is tired of the fan base coming for his head. Like, come on, bro. You got to put a winning product on the field. So everybody's job is on the line somehow, some way, some shape or form. So at the end of the day, you want to put a good product out there. All right. So we're going to leave the whole business side of this and how Shedeur can do this. And he's bringing 1 billion fans. I got videos that's coming for that. I'm going to butter you up and do whatever you need. I know we want to hear different things. Tonight is about the mess that the Cleveland Browns has on their hands. Shedeur is not in a good space for that many reps. But like I said, if you give Shedeur the ball and give him enough snaps, purposeful snaps, he is going to win the job. They got to find it. If they do, we already know what came out of the mini camps. Shedeur can win that job. Just for those people who want to hear something positive, that's where we are. We are looking for snaps for Shedeur. That's what we're looking for. That's it. If we can find the snaps, he can win the job. But can you find the snaps? Where can you find the snaps? Where can you find it? Like, find me some snaps. Where is he getting it from? Because what you're not thinking about is the fact that they got to prepare for the season as well. Are you putting Shedeur out there? And all of this information could be like out the window tomorrow, because the coaching staff can come out tomorrow and say, we got a real quarterback competition. There's no pecking order. I'll be like, yo, I won't delete this video, but I'll be like, forget about this video. Forget about everything I said. If they come out and say tomorrow, we got a real quarterback competition, that's it. I ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm going to sit back and be like, all right, Shedeur, I'm buying your jersey because I know you're going to start. For me, it's that simple. I ain't speaking for nobody else. I'm just saying give him the reps and he will win the job. That's it.
Well, he definitely would. I think that you need to do that to totally give him an opportunity. I honestly believe this is probably the one of the best fits for him. I didn't say the sole best fit, but one of the best fit where he would be able to come in and compete. Because folks, believe it or not, only 6, 7 teams were really looking for QBs. Look at the draft. Titans drafted Ward at 1, and then I think the next one went off the board was Dart. That was like what the second round, the first of the second round, and then we really didn't see a whole lot of movement. So I think that he can get the reps, but I think if Harry, I would say this: if he is in there in that film room and he is knocking it out with the reads and stuff like that, now is he probably going to be better than Pickett and Flacco in there? No, probably not, because Flacco has seen everything. You're not beating Flacco out in that film room. It's just not going to happen. And I think you're probably not going to beat Pickett out because he's got. I mean, folks, at the end of the day, is somebody been there a little longer. They kind of have an idea how it goes. You're learning it. So his thing is to beat Dylan, but I don't really think Dylan is his competition.
Who do you
I
think his
don't.
competition is?
I think his competition is Shedeur is his competition. And I'm not saying that to be
Oh,
kind
he's
of
trying to
like,
be poetic. Oh, here
yeah,
we
I'm not
go.
trying to be. No, I don't think there's any way they're getting rid of Dylan. Not a third round pick and the money that they're paying, they gave him in the signing bonus. I don't think that they're getting rid of him.
That's what I'm saying. That's
I
just
don't think that,
reality. You don't
no,
get rid
yeah.
of your third round pick.
No, no. I get what folks want to say, but they generally now that he would have to go in there and totally blow it in order for them to get rid of
Hey,
him.
DC, but look, on the flip side of that, right?
Hmm.
There's no way you keep Dylan and get rid of Shedeur. That's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking like, okay, if you keep Dylan, if you're keeping him for what I think the reason why you're keeping him, then you got to keep Shedeur as well. Because regardless of the draft order, if we're talking about skill and you're keeping him for skill, you're keeping Shedeur. So people can literally say, you know what? Shedeur and Dylan has made that team. It's going to be one of the OGs that leave. I don't see them getting rid of Shedeur. It wouldn't make any sense to get rid of Shedeur and keep Dylan. Because then why would you bring him in and he can outplay Dylan, but then you get rid of him? And a lot of us will probably be okay with that. Because I'm thinking Shedeur's about to get picked up by the Saints. So go ahead, just do it already. Please.
Oh, the Saints got what about because they pulled in they undrafted kid out of I think Northern Iowa, something like that. But they got a stack room anyway. So here's what I think.
Before you go with that, you want to answer Shante?
What is Shantae saying?
Oh, so y'all trying to tell the people that winning is not equal money?
It's not what I
Based on
said.
the last thing we talked about. There's a
What I
lot of misunderstanding going on. I don't know. I don't get it, man.
let's take the Shedeur shades off for a moment.
No, the
And-
earplugs, like for real.
yes,
Like, what are we
yes.
saying
I'm
that's
messing with you,
wrong?
Shantae. I'm messing with you, Shantae. But here's the thing: that it's not saying that. It's saying that you got to look at the Browns, the organization. They're not structured to get out here and win 10, 12, 14 games. They're not. So if you have a team that's probably, and they are in a toughest nails division.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Ravens off in there. That Steeler defense, you got the Bengals off in there. You're going to have to play them twice, each team twice. So that ain't no joke. That is not a joke. I mean,
This
I
is
get
not
what
a
we're saying.
fantasy walk we're talking about here.
No, it's not saying that Shedeur can at all. It's just saying this is what you facing. This is a tough division that they're in, and the Browns at the bottom, and they don't have a ton of pieces for surrounding
And what does
Shedeur.
that mean? That means like, okay, they just got rid of, or well, not get rid of, but their linebackers not playing. Number one, you don't have the receiving core to play lights out. Right. You don't have the offensive line. Maybe if you go a couple of years back, maybe 3 or 4 years, they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL.
They
That
did.
it has depleted, so it's no longer there. So he doesn't have the protection. You're going to be seeing 2023 Colorado all over again. That's what it's going to look like. Him running for his life, being a rookie, running for his life with some grown men that's seeing red meat because they're like, oh, that's my dinner right there. This is how I get my bonus. If I smash his head off, that's how I get my bonus. So now it's not no college kids no more. It's grown men that got bills to pay that's coming after him.
Right. So now here's the thing. If somebody would want to argue, well, Shedeur could, well, Shedeur X, Y, Z, he might wind up doing this, or he's gonna. If you want to tell me that, if you want to pull out the chalkboard and show me how the way for Shedeur to success, I'll sit back and look at that. I don't have no problem with that. That very well could happen. But what you're looking at is process is that because not think about this, not one time that we said did anybody in our discussion say Dylan's gonna beat Shedeur or Flacco or Pickett. None
No,
of us
I
said
think
that.
we've said
I
at least 4 or 6
yeah,
times already that
I
if
ain't
he's given
saying
the amount of reps, he wins it.
right, but the bottom line is, folks, I have to stand on this, and you can call me a hater if you want to. I'm used to it. Is that it ain't finna be given to him. And as much as you might want to sit back and look at the mini camp or all that kind of stuff, you can throw a lot of that, a lot of that stuff was just people talking, generating buzz, because it don't mean nothing to them passes on. It doesn't mean nothing till we hit this preseason game. And
Mm-hmm.
that's it. So you can always sit back and say, here's the path for Shedeur to be successful. I won't push back on that at all. I'm just going to sit back and say is if you think people who are competitive like a Gabriel or Pickett or Flacco is just going to roll down and say, well, Shadeur's here, so him, and he's legendary. Let me just go on and go home. That ain't finna happen. You got to think about this. These guys been playing this game ever since they was kids. And so I get what you can say with Joe Flacco is old, but he who here is willing to give up on something you've done all your life? Not much people. So he's going to
First
try.
of all, that money,
Yeah,
that money is real. That money is paying for a lot of things. People are they're renovating their houses. They're moving. They're doing different things. This is
yeah.
real life. This ain't no game. There ain't nobody playing no game. Let's bring Common Sense Buff on. He want to join the conversation. Common Sense Buff, what up with you, man? Thank you for calling. I appreciate you.
What up, Harry B? What up, DC? What up, chat?
What up going
Everybody
on,
hiding their face
CSB?
nowadays. Okay, I get it. Fine. I'll be the only one to show my face.
Hey, man, I'm locked in. I'm trying to make the team. I'm not trying to get cut, man.
Okay. So listen, man. Look, we're trying to find reps for Shedeur. We're trying to see where the reps comes from. It's getting real now because now we have a real situation, and the organization has not told us. Besides Mary Kay giving us some crumbs and saying, "Hey, this is the pecking order. We got Dylan Gabriel, we got Kenny Pickett, who are going to take the first and second, and then third and fourth is going to be Shedeur and and Flacco. So this is what we're looking at. This is where we are. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I mean, I just got to start by saying I appreciate the objectivity you guys are taking in this conversation, right? You're taking into account just the reality of the NFL. And, in a lot of ways, to ignore the reality of the NFL is to set yourself up for disappointment if you're a Shedeur fan, right? So you can't get too hopeful that you ignore the reality of the NFL. I mean, Shedeur's draft experience should remind everybody that the NFL is a business. And they will make you respect the pecking order in the NFL, right? Like we'll let you drop all the way to the 5th round just to prove a point.
That's right.
And so I think Shedeur learned his lesson from that, and the approach that he's taken, even though some of the fans may not necessarily agree that he should have to do this, is that he's willing to accept, right, whatever opportunity is afforded him and try to make the best out of it. I don't think he goes into camp with the expectation that he's going to get as many reps as Dylan Gabriel. He shouldn't. But what he should do is do what all athletes, all football players, even if you play pickup basketball, when a dog walks on the court, even in the layup line, even shooting, you know a dog when you see one.
My man,
You
heard it say, "Hey, a spirit player got to fight for justice, my man."
Exactly. Exactly. I don't need to go out there and throw the same number of passes as my competition, but when I do get the ball in my hands, I'm gonna make people say, "Who is that?"
Right.
When I walk off the field, even you give me 5 reps, I'm gonna get 4 first downs. And when the coaches see that, it's gonna be damn near impossible to keep you off the field. That's how you earn more reps.
That's what Shedeur has to do. That's what I've been trying to say all night. Like Shedeur can separate. He needs separation. I don't know if it's a mild separation, but he needs a significant amount of separation in order for him to win this job. Because if it's close, he's not winning the job.
But check this out.
That's just how it works.
But think about this. Check this out. You're right. Because some people will say, well, Stefanski said that everybody, equal reps. Well, check this out.
You're lying.
Pickett and Flack, but
it's
Pickett
a lie because you got to. How do you prepare the team, and you're having a quarterback competition?
Well, here's the thing: Pickett and Flacco don't have to have as many reps. Flacco certainly does it. Flacco's seen the playbook before. It's Gabriel and it is Sanders are the ones that need, and they're getting equal reps. So true enough, they're getting equal reps, but they don't. But so what I'm saying is that we have to make sure we put things in context. You're taking a decade veteran. You're taking somebody who's got experience in the league. He did come from the Eagles, so he knows what a winning team looks like, being in Pickett. And then you also have the and I'm making sure I'm saying that right, because I mean, there's been so many pieces moving in the NFL, and trying to wrap my head more so around it, even though I do watch the NFL, to have these discussions. Man, Harry, you've been drinking out of fire hose, ain't you?
Dude, I'm trying to tell you, man.
Too. It's crazy.
Look, I'm sitting. Look, just to prepare for this show, just to think about this show. I didn't even want to do this show because I'm like, I wonder if the fan base realize that issue's about to get real. like it's about to get real. Because you legitimately you have 5 quarterbacks. You know what? Just for the sake of argument, we're gonna take out Watson for now. Okay, I don't care if he's throwing the ball and he's looking good. You still got 4. Y'all can tell me how many times you watched the NFL and you saw a 4th quarterback on that roster. Why in the world would an NFL team carry 4 quarterbacks on an open roster? It's better for you to just sign them to the practice squad, hold them in the wings when you need them, right? Let them do what they got to be doing. So if anything, 2 people gets hurt, they get that phone call. But there's no way that you're gonna sell another a fourth quarterback on that roster, it ain't happening. It's not going to happen. Somebody's getting cut.
Harry, you stirring the pot when you went
No,
down
but
that.
this is the NFL.
Yeah, but
Somebody's getting cut. If
yeah,
there's
but
5 quarterbacks on that roster, 2 has to get cut.
Harry, you stirring the pot because
I ain't saying
what?
Shedor's getting cut. I said
Because
2 has
because
to get
because
cut.
because you're probably not gonna put Flacco or Pickett on a practice squad. So
Then you got to cut them. There's no way you put them on a roster. You got to cut them. You got to cut one.
or
Somebody has to get cut.
now this is the doomsday scenario. All right. But this is not what DC is saying. He's just laying it out, and I want to hear what CSB has to say about it. Could have a situation where the two veterans, they're not getting put on that practice team. Let's go ahead and throw
One
that
of
out
them
the
have
way.
to get cut.
So it's gonna be rookie. Well, or you may keep them and one of your rookies wind up going on your practice team.
I don't
Now
see that.
see, I don't want to. I don't want to accept. I don't want to. I have to accept that's the possibility and who could possibly be on there, but I don't want to see it. But one of them could see it, and we kind of get into that again. That kind of goes back to Shedeur goes in there and balls lights out. He balls out. Let me just say lights out. It's in the age of Diddy. Let's say he plays lights out.
But why is
Then
that Diddy? Why is lights
I'm
out Diddy?
saying balls out versus lights out. Okay. The
Oh,
point being, the
oh.
point being that
It
the
ain't that
point
bad.
being, yeah, the point being is that one of the rookies may wind up on there. And now we get into that point where if Shador is not head and shoulders above it, and it's like a feather between the two, he could be on that practice squad. I don't see that, but it's not out of the realm of possibly. But
Can we just
so could
repeat
it.
that this is a mess? Look
It
at
is a
the thumbnail.
mess.
This is a
It
mess.
is a mess.
There is no other way to say this. The Cleveland Browns have a mess that they got to figure out quickly. Common Sense, you want to respond to what's the name just said?
Yeah. So the only pushback I have to that, DC, is that the coaches, I mean, if they continue to grant press access, media access like they did at rookie camp, it won't really be up to Kevin Stefanski 100% who ends up on that practice squad. Because we're the fans are watching. It's not like they could come out. I think I think one of the things they did not, I mean, maybe they anticipated it. Maybe this is what a lot of teams anticipated. But we watched the rookie mini camp battle. Yes, it's not the full team, none of the vets, a lot of guys who are not going to make the team. But we watched, and ESPN, Fox Sports, and TLP Sports had an opinion about who won that battle. If the media continues to have access, we, the fans, are going to determine who goes on the practice squad, not the coach. And I think that is the real fear that all those coaches had. They were not going to be able to sit him if the fans saw that he got a real shot at the QB job, earned it, but you had NFL politics in the way, like, oh, well, I can't put a fifth rounder before my third rounder.
Right. But we are the 12th men. In case y'all didn't know, that the fans are the 12th men. Okay, so
But you can but again, we're talking about if you're talking about where we believe the scenario will be. This is our belief that Shador will be better, head and shoulders better than Dylan Gabriel. It won't be just a slim margin. Then you would be right. But if it is to a point where that is right in between, then I can understand what people are saying. But that's I don't I think that is a pretty deep assumption to believe that the fans will wind up having that type of pull to push somebody to the practice squad.
but I think it's not okay. So let me chime in just a little bit on that. The fans don't get to decide, but it's the same thing, the same kind of sway or power that the fans have when they feel a certain way and they start to voice their concerns. That power, that influence, that energy that you get, there's no way you ignore that energy. So the fans, while they don't get to decide the quarterback or make decisions, their energy does play a part in the decision-making process, because you're not just going to ignore the fans. These are the ones that are going to those games. The fans are the ones that are buying the jerseys. The fans are the ones that are buying the tickets. You're not going to ignore the fans. That's just like, let's just be frank. I don't care how deep the NFL is. Their move, when the Colin Kaepernick situation, we know that the fans can affect the game. So let's not pretend like the NFL is all power and all knowing and all everything, that they don't ever need nothing and they can make their own. Heck no. The fans do have power. And if they talk, I know what happened here in New York with the Geno Smith situation and the Eli Manning situation. It was the fans that got Eli Manning back his job. So let's not pretend like the fans ain't got no kind of say or no power in the NFL game. The NFL, the fans are the 12th man.
But then let me ask you this then. So then if the fans are now the ones that drive it, then are the fans so let's just take this scenario, because I won't push back against that, but I will also look back against another angle. So what if Dylan is better? What if Dylan does better than Shedeur? That I know that's a world where there's like 5 sons and 14
What
moons.
was the question?
Let's take a scenario where Dylan is better than Shedeur. And I know that's a world
All
where
right, no.
cats and
Go
dogs
ahead. Don't worry about the
and all
world.
that good
Go ahead.
stuff.
Ask the
All right.
question.
So if Dylan, let's say if Dylan winds up being better, let's say for example, some Shedeur has a little more problem with reads or something like that on a particular defense.
Okay, go ahead. I'm
But you're
following.
saying that the fans are going, but the fans have saw what they saw, and that you're saying that, well, even if the coaches were sitting there, because the coaches see all the practice, we got to remember the media doesn't always report everything the way it is. They report what they feel they should report sometimes versus what actually happened. So let's say Dylan is the best. I'm not saying he will be. You're basically saying is that the fans will push the management to be able to say, well, Dylan is better, but this is what the fans want. So we'll put Shedeur out there. And let's say that Shedeur, for some weird reason, isn't ready. Is that what the fans would want?
How would you know that somebody ain't ready?
Well,
How
that's
would
what
you
I'm
know who's
saying.
ready?
But see, here's what we're sitting here saying. We're saying that right now we got the 12th man, we got all that. So we're saying it's that we don't get to see all the stuff like that's going on. But you and CSB are saying if regardless of what happens, even if they came out and say Dylan had a better camp, are y'all gonna be willing to accept that or not?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, they ain't gonna explain nothing to us. If he wins, he wins. I mean,
Right.
that ain't got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Then I get it. So but what I'm saying is, no, I don't see any Colorado merging over to to Cleveland fan. I don't see any scenario where even if the coach came out there and said that y'all are ever going to accept, and there's some good reasons in that you would ever accept Shedeur being on the practice squad.
But this is the thing.
Here's what I think is
The
gonna happen.
reporters are there. And
Yeah.
this ain't gonna be no, we got feelings. The reporters are there. They're gonna be able to tell you, like, oh, we saw different. This ain't gonna be no situation where it's gonna be a secret. If they don't let reporters in and they don't let nobody come and see nothing, then maybe they can sneak one past us. But ain't nobody gonna sneak nothing past us. Come on now. Go ahead, comment sis.
Yeah. So here's my bigger concern, right? It initially going into rookie minicamp, I thought he wasn't going to get a fair shake, even though it was just the two of them there. They gave him a fair shake, and all indications are he had a better rookie minicamp. If he keeps doing that, even if he doesn't start game one, which me personally, unless with my own 2 eyes throughout this entire process, sees that he's a game one quarterback, I think it is a better situation for Shedeur to not be the starter in game one and just see what the Cleveland Browns are able to accomplish with the line that they have, and Stefanski calling a limited offense. Because whether it's the veterans or it's the rookies, I don't think the quarterback play on the Cleveland Browns team is the kind where you can open the playbook and you got a quarterback that can make all the throws. I'm interested to see what kind of coach the Browns have, because when Shedeur gets in the game, it cannot be a Pat Shurmur Colorado offense. They're going to need a running game to protect him. So if you're not going to be a dynamic passing offense and you want to protect your rookie quarterback, I'm more interested to see how Kevin Stefanski is going to call that offense around Shedeur as a starter. Right? That's the more interesting kind of football conversation I want to have, because at the end of the day, he's going to play this year. I think he's going to win. He's going to be on the roster and he's going to play. My question really is, when he gets in the game, is Stefanski going to be able to protect him and be the kind of coach he needs?
Right, but see, what I'm saying is that CSB, we're looking at it, and I understand the fandom. But you being a businessman is that you have to look at what contingency plans and worst case scenarios, correct? Right? Don't we all
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
take a
for
look
sure,
at
for
those?
sure. I was on
Right.
mute. My
So
bad.
so right. So it's fine. So what we're saying is all of our scenarios have Shador doing great. Hardly any of them have this where the middle ground. Though Harry is trying to beat that drum and say, "Hey, he got to come in there and be lights out," because this is what happens if he doesn't, and that's kind of why I think they were
That
trying to have a
but that
conversation.
scenario is about the reps. Again,
Right, but see what I'm saying,
if
because
he's
like for
not getting
example,
the reps, if he
right,
gets limited reps, so I just want to make myself
I,
clear. If
I want to
Shador
say
does not get the same equal amount of reps as the other quarterbacks, if he gets limited reps, he comes in, he has no choice but to be lights out.
but here's what I'm saying. So here's what I'm saying. All right. So Cam Ward is probably going to get the bulk of the snaps at the Titans, right?
Yep.
Because they've made that. So he's going to have more of the reps to get comfortable with it. Whereas first team is running with, think about it, the first team is running with Pickett and Dylan, I mean, and Gabriel, and the second team is running with Flacco and Shador. So Shador's not even taking snaps with the first team. So what I'm saying is that
Well, no, I don't want you to say like it's facts. This is just
no,
rumor.
no. This is the rumor, right? So
Right, right.
do I believe that Shador can overcome that? Heck yeah. Dude is a baller. What we're sitting at saying is reps and reps, and that thing of you're taking two rookies that you split it between. I do agree with what Common Sense Buff is saying, is that Shador will definitely start a game or multiple games. I absolutely believe that. And but I also believe you probably are gonna have some situations where Dylan, if they're neck and neck. This is why the key
Well,
thing
look,
here
we're at this point.
is
Let, let,
yes.
let, let's do this. Who gets cut? Because it's a mess, bro. We because I gotta end this soon.
I
We got
can't
eight,
say
we
Harry.
got 8 minutes, so we gotta do
Right. I
this.
can't
We gotta do this in 8 minutes.
I can't say who gets cut.
Somebody has to get cut. There's no way the Cleveland Browns keep 4 or 5 quarterbacks on their roster. Who gets cut? Somebody has to get cut.
I'm gonna say
Somebody's feeling is gonna get some fan base feeling is gonna get hurt. Is it gonna
I'm
be the
just
Colorado fan base? Is it gonna be the Oregon fan base? Is it gonna be the old men fan base? Who's gonna get hurt? Whose feelings getting hurt?
so let me ask you this. Like if I have Flacco and I have because Watson can't play.
Make a
If
case for each quarterback.
okay, so here's I'll be brief. Here's the thing. I'm not, why would I cut my a rookie and just get rid of him completely and not at least have one on the squad, on the practice squad? I still would want to have access to it. So I would say if Dylan is coming in, if Dylan has faced better defenses, I hate to say it, folks, but yes, he has. He has faced Big Ten. He's faced SEC, so he's seen the speed, the game. I know people say he's shorter, but understand a bunch of his linemen pretty tall, pretty big, and he was still able to find passing lanes with those guys. So you have to consider that. I can make the case for him because he has faced some competition, and that might give him the edge. What I'm gonna give the Shador is, dude is just a flat out playmaker and a baller. He is a magician. He makes stuff happen. When the play is busted, he's able to make something happen. So I think that's where Shadeur's magic comes in, is when a play is broken down, he's still able to get some meat off of it. And that's why I would make the thing for him to be to win. But as far as if he doesn't, and they're telling him, I don't need you to get out there and make magic, Shedeur. I need you to check down first, second, third, and throw the doggone ball away. And if Shedeur doesn't do that, that probably will put him on the practice team.
So listen, you put Shedeur on the practice squad, he's not going to be on the Cleveland Browns. Because if you put him on the practice squad, you're opening him up as a free agent. There's no way Shedeur stays on the practice squad. And if he becomes a free agent, no way he stays. It wouldn't happen. There's too many teams that need quarterbacks. Philadelphia can scoop him up.
Well, Philadelphia just got rid of what got a quarterback in. They got rid of Pickett. But I would see this.
No,
I wouldn't see him.
saying a team that has a decent quarterback can pick him up.
I wouldn't see him on there for long because, I mean, you're going to have a brutal season. People get hurt. Do I see him for the whole entire year? If either one of them, do I see him? No, I wouldn't see them on there. Somebody would pick them up.
Yeah, there's no way you put Shedeur. I'm just saying, if there's a scenario where you're putting Shedeur on your practice squad, this is why I think that's improbable for the Cleveland Browns. They cannot afford to put him on the practice squad from a value standpoint. They cannot afford to do that because they know that the second you do that, somebody's scooping him up. And you just lost everything that the owner saw. You will lose that. So I don't see that scenario happening. But common sense, Buff, tell me what's your pecking order? Who gets cut? Somebody has to get cut. We got 4 minutes to go. Somebody has to get cut. We got too many quarterbacks. This cluster mess, this nonsense that we're going through, we have to talk about it because we got to talk about it. But somebody got to get cut. Maybe 2 people.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm biased. So of course I'm going to say Shedeur is not going to get cut. Right?
Biased with a good explanation. It's not just biased.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm biased because I believe that the issues in Shedeur's game that were exacerbated by the play calling of Pat Shurmur last year are not issues that can't be fixed. He holds on to the ball too long, and he doesn't always play on time. I think he understands that. I think he has eyes too, right? He realizes the issues that he has in his game and what he needs to work on. And now he's in the NFL with the best quarterback coaches to help him overcome that. The things that you cannot teach that he possesses and that the Cleveland Browns are going to need in a quarterback is toughness. Because everybody knows they don't have the best offensive line. He's played behind a line that wasn't the best. So you're going to need a tough quarterback to make it through a season as a Cleveland Brown. Number 2, he's a leader. No, he's going to come in as a rookie. Yeah, these are grown men that he's playing with. But you can already see that the guys like to play with him in Cleveland, right? So that's another thing that he's going to need to be able to demonstrate, which is why I don't think he's going to get cut. And then, he knows how to win. He's clutch. He's not, the moment's never going to be too big for him. He's never, the crowd, the noise, the distraction is never going to be too big for him. And if you're down by 7 and you got 2 minutes left on that team, if he can clean it up and he can get ready to play football in the NFL like I know he will, then I would go with Shedeur on that roster. So that's why I have him. That's my explanation, Harry B. Now, the guy who I think gets cut or who's most vulnerable is actually Pickett.
That's what I think too.
I think he's the most vulnerable of everybody because Flacco is.
I think Flacco is the most vulnerable.
Okay, well, Flacco, I think he's the grizzled vet. He has some goodwill. He took him to the playoffs, and they're going to need him around if they're going to have 2 rookies on that roster to mentor them because, he's Super Bowl champion. He knows how to play football in the NFL. He knows how to have a long career, stay injury-free, all of the things that matter that guys take for granted with great quarterbacks. So that's just my thought. I think Pickett is the most vulnerable.
So you're cutting Pickett?
I think Pickett cuts himself by the end of training camp. because I think Shedeur outplays him, and because Gabriel is not going to go down easy like DC said, he's going to outplay him as well.
All right, so this is how I look at it. I look at it like you got to keep the two rookies. Number one, you pitch yourself in the corner with picking two rookies. You should have never done that. That's a mess. You cannot put Shedeur on a practice squad because he won't stay there long. I think Philly will come get him. I think the Saints will come get him. Somebody's picking up Shedeur. If you mess around, you're gonna fumble the bag and put him on the practice squad. Somebody's gonna clean him off that practice squad. It ain't nothing you can do about it. That's just the NFL rules. You put him on the practice squad, you're literally saying he's a free agent. So if he's a free agent, he can sign with whoever he wants to sign with. They'll sign him off that practice squad. So you don't want to take that risk. There's no reason for you to go up, get him at the 5th round. The owner did that, not you. The owner did that. That's one thing I think that's amiss in this conversation is that it's not the coach. The coach did not want him. Let's just make that clear. The head coach did not want him. So if the owner picks him up, then the value is a little higher than we're actually discussing or not discussing. Because you're not putting the owners, you're not going to put him on the practice squad because he will be gone. And you're not going to cut him. It doesn't make sense. So now you got Dylan Gabriel hanging out there somewhere. He's uncuttable somewhat. He's a 3rd rounder. You don't spend $6 million to cut somebody. It don't make sense. So now we come to the two veterans. Pickett is younger. He has more legs under him. Flacco is older. That's what it boils down to. Both of those two veterans have experiences or have experience. Who do you go with? You go with Pickett. So I think Flacco has to go. At the end of the day, there's no way you cut any of the rookies. There's no way. And we're not going practice squad, nobody. It doesn't make sense. What do we do with Watson if he gets healthy? Does anybody know would anybody say anything about Watson if he gets healthy? All of this whole conversation goes out the window. He starts. Point blank period. Everybody gets cut. Start Watson. All right? I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. You got Cam Newton right there. All right? You're not – if you got Cam Newton was to come out of retirement and go to the Browns, you're starting him over everybody. That's just point blank period. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes. So man, DC, let's get final thoughts. Let's get up out of here. I'm tired. I don't want nobody to call us a hater for just talking football. It's going to happen. All right. When I come on here, it's got to be a praise. It's got to be a praise report, or don't say nothing football. And I can't do that. I'm sorry. we gotta talk NFL football. All right. Just like we did with the college football, there are going to be lives where we talk about NFL football. If you give Shedeur the ball and you give him enough reps and enough time to show you, he wins the game. He wins the competition. I don't see any competition that he can't win. I don't know. That's me being biased, whatever you want to call it. I don't see it in Dylan. Dylan is a good quarterback. He was given a gift. He had the organization. Shedeur has never gotten that such gift. He had JSU and he has CU. Like, come on. Like, what are you talking about here? If we swap all lines or organizations, Shedeur gets 5,000, 6,000 yards. I'm just telling you. Y'all don't want to see it or think about it, but that's just how it works. All right, man.
So I'll close it out. With first being funny and then being serious. You know, Cleveland Brown is one of the few teams that do not have cheerleaders, but I see they now have them. And that's perfectly fine.
That's the funny part, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's the funny part.
Okay,
All
okay.
right. That's not a problem. They don't have cheerleaders. They're going to have some this year.
Okay.
Head cheerleader Shante. That's fine. The thing I'm going to say, though, is that, folks, here's the thing. We can love Shedeur. We can love Prime. We can support. We can do all that. But here's the thing about, but you are in a football environment. So while you may love Shedeur and love Prime, some people are just here for a staunch love of the game, and they're going to push back on you. And sometimes, folks, they're going to have valid points on how things roll. how what they've seen for decades, how it goes. So the thing is, I think we have to say is that let Shedeur cook. The bottom line is you're not gonna hear me say Shedeur is gonna be QB1, X, Y, and Z. I just want him to go in there and be his own man and just do the best he can. That's what we want to see. We want to see it. I think he has a long career in this league, but as a rookie, there's always an uphill battle, especially Harry is saying one key thing that you cannot get away from, and that's reps. If Shedeur is able to come in with the minimal reps he's going to get and does a great job, you probably are going to have a future GOAT. But if he's not able to do it, if next year he's able to get the reps, that's even better. I think he will play this year, and I think he will be fine. But
Yep.
let's accept that he's gonna have growing pains. Great show.
Yep. At the end of the day, this is how I see it. I see it where Shedeur gets if the coach is not lying, and we know that coaches be lying all the time. Shedeur ain't gonna say nothing. You ain't gonna hear Prime say anything. Prime's been staying out of it because they already targeting him. As soon as as soon as something goes wrong, they think Prime's gonna step in and be the head coach. Prime has been staying out of it. He ain't putting nothing on Twitter. He ain't saying nothing. God is great. God is good. That's all you're getting. Okay. Shedeur ain't gonna say nothing because him and his dad, they already know what went down. They know exactly what happened. These are smart men that we're talking about, right? One young man and one older gentleman. You know what I'm saying? One distinguished gentleman in Coach Prime. He knows this game. So he knows what happened. He knows the truth. Coach Prime knows the truth. So I'm sure the conversation was about, all right, so if this is how they want to play it, then let's go ahead and let's do it like this. Go in there and just do your thing, and then you're going to end up where you want to be at anyway. Because they only have you for the first couple of years as a rookie. And then after that, you become a free agent. Now you can do whatever you want to do. Prime has a plan for Shedeur, and Shedeur has a plan for his life. They know what's happening. This is not an end-all be-all for Shedeur. It ain't going to be he's going to turn into a journeyman quarterback and he's not going to figure it out. Nah, this ain't that. He ain't going to be on nobody's practice squad. He ain't going to be none of that. All right? I'm just trying to let you know. We're looking at a first-round draft pick that was picked in the 5th round. So apparently, that's all we can do. The truth is he's 5th round. We have to treat him like that. My conversation doesn't have to be, oh, he's a 5th rounder. I can have two conversations. I'm an analyst and I understand the game of football. So I know I can jump into a conversation talking about the 5th round, but I can also let you know that I'm not speaking from the place of a 5th rounder. I'm speaking from the place of a 1st rounder. So that's how I treat my conversations with for Shedeur and with Shedeur. So that's how it's going to be for me. If you give him the amount of reps that he needs, he's going to win the job. That's how I look at it. So I just want everybody to just understand that now is a big boys game. All we're looking for is reps. That's it. The NFL has rules. You can't do it all night. You can't play all day. Where are we getting the reps from? We don't know. But if the coach is right and they're going to get equal reps, then let's go buy your jersey and let's get ready for the season. Hey, DC, I appreciate you joining me tonight. And for everybody that's in the chat, Shantae, Unity 2025, everybody else, TH, Love Moves, K Hayes, everybody, man, I appreciate y'all joining me tonight. Y'all have a great evening, and I'll see you on the next live. Something else happened. We got to talk about it. Good night, everybody. Peace out, DC.